All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. This is the Entrepreneur's Point B channel speaking. So here we go. I'm going to do my job. Good evening. I'm by the seaside, so you can hear the waves of the sea coming in here in the country. It's Sunday evening. The city is very calm. So when I get home, thank God, well, I'm healthy. Mentally, I'm doing well. So we can always keep fighting. I think the message here is to show that we can all keep fighting. There's always a new day. It's nighttime. That's kind of the beauty. When you work late at night, it gives you time to think. There's the day and there's the night. You see, at night, when it's late, when you have problems, it's dark, but one day there will be light. So you always have to hope that the day will come. When you come home late and then the next day you see the sunrise, it's a symbol that was spread among Cameroonians. The night may be long, but it will always end. So you always have to hope that things will get better. So you should never give up. You have to hold on to everything. You have to believe deep down that you can make it. I'm a big soccer fan. I also see that I can draw inspiration from Paris Saint Germain's victory. They set themselves the goal of winning the Champions League. They gave themselves the means to achieve that goal. They brought in great players, world-renowned stars, but even after several attempts over the years, they haven't lost sight of their goal. They haven't changed their objective. They know how to stay focused on the goal. That's what each of us should do. That is, we have our project, and in practice, in execution, there are unexpected events that tire us out, that derail our projects, but we have to hold on. We have to keep holding on, because by persevering, sooner or later, we will achieve victory. And victory never really seems like a fluke. It's a lesson in perseverance. And you see how beautiful victory is. A 5-0 victory with beautiful play. That will stay with us. The wait was worth it because they waited all that time, but the victory is so wonderful that it was all worth it. The whole world is happy. It's a life lesson. You have to be persistent. You have to be tenacious. That's the value here. In addition to the money they invested in the club, the players they brought in, one of the values they didn't forget on that helped them was perseverance. It also shows that in any human project, you can have the will, you can have the money. But the unexpected, you can't predict it. That's what we call the unexpected. You don't know where it comes from. It throws all your plans off track, but it's up to you to stay persistent. It's up to you to show that you really want to reach your goal and to hang on. If you ever give up, you're the one who loses. But if you persevere, only those young people lose. After trying with Neymar, with Lionel Messi, with Kylian Mbappe, after years and years, with players like Diogo Jota who have been there, Ronaldinho has been there, Zlatan Ibrahimovic has been there. Big names have come through, but they never made it. But they also stayed focused on the goal. They found the adjustments that needed to be made, changed coaches, but the objective was to reach the Champions League, and they achieved it after a long time. But the wait was worth it because the victory was well earned. It was 5-0 in 2010. It was a very, very beautiful victory. So that's a lesson that all of us can draw inspiration from in all our endeavors, in all our projects, and whatever we want to do, we have to hold on and be persistent. So I think it's a lesson for all of us who are on a journey, who are starting out with just a dream. All of us in the group, when we arrive after so many times, whether we arrive in the West, whether it's in Paris, in London, in Munich, in Frankfurt, or in New York, we live with a dream, with the desire to improve our lives, to help our families who stayed in Africa, and above all, to bring something more to our community. But unfortunately, when we get there, I can assure you that as soon as we arrive, we're full of hope. We want to help our relatives back home. And many times we work 2 or even 3 jobs and we send money back to our country. Unfortunately, in many cases we send the money, but what happens is that the money just disappears along the way. We don't have time to build a house. After years, the house still isn't built. We send the money for the transport. The transportation doesn't go well. It goes on check after check, and it becomes very complicated. After years in the West, we start to have our own families. We start to settle down. There's the pressure from the family that remains in Africa. We have to keep supporting them. There's illness, there's marriage, there's the end of year celebration, there's Eid, there's Tabaski, there's the Ramadan festival. And we have to contribute. And then, well, financially it's very, very complicated. And there's that dream, it comes to mind on its own, the dream of being able to build a house for our parents. And when we see others coming to buy a beautiful house, to buy a nice car for their mother, arriving and telling her to close her eyes, we say, open your eyes, here's the beautiful car, here's the beautiful house. But unfortunately, in reality, it's very complicated. Very few adventurers, after all their hard work, actually manage to build a house for their parents or to celebrate moving into beautiful homes. It becomes very complicated after years. Some people disappear, stop calling their parents, hide away, and so on. So it's very complicated. I think that one of the things that can help us is entrepreneurship. By becoming entrepreneurs, of course, when we do our jobs, we have steady income, we have a salary, but those salaries are very limited. Now, by being entrepreneurial, if we are lucky and have a sense of aesthetics, if we have the determination, if the entrepreneur alone learns, we can achieve our goals and be able to help our families, our parents, build a house for our parents and bring something extra. The advantage of being an entrepreneur. And if you, in our specific case, in my specific case, when I do Employee Spa, my activities create jobs in Africa. That's it. It creates jobs in Africa. It creates a value chain in Africa, from the farmers to the freight forwarders to the shipping company, all the expertise that is involved. In each contract, at the very least, there are 20 people who are paid, who are salaried. So it creates jobs and it creates conditions. It improves the living conditions of the local people. That too is relative. Also, when the project succeeds, it allows us to have extra cash to invest in the country, to invest in logistics, in the warehouse. So we are creating economic operators who bring added value to our country. So entrepreneurship can be the solution to this financial pressure we feel from our parents and from the country, who expect us to achieve great things. But honestly, with just salaries, it will be very, very difficult to reach that goal. Now, starting a business is not easy either. It takes a long time getting things set up, gaining expertise. And I really learned during my own journey into this adventure that you need proven expertise. So you have to keep that in mind and be ready to fight for it. You have to be persistent. You have to be determined. You have to have willpower. And when you have that, over time, you have to slowly build up until you create a business that will allow you to have income, so you can cover your expenses here in the West and support your parents in Africa. And then create a system that will be sustainable, that will help us get out of precariousness. Because after all, while we are on this journey, we come from modest families, and we have to be able to create financial conditions to lift our families out of precariousness. But it's difficult to do that with just salaries. You need to have a business that becomes successful. And that can be the first step toward moving forward. Unfortunately, in Africa, I've really noticed that most of the time when we think about people, it's about families who have only the bare minimum. And for those who come from very modest families, who have to start from nothing without any initial capital, is very complicated, but I understand. But I tell myself it's worth it. Spending your time working for others, in restaurants or in security jobs, it's not a waste of time, but you're creating wealth for other people. But if you invest in yourself, you can build a system that you can replicate, and that can allow you to see that I want to innovate the sacrifice that will be put in place. And when it starts to bear fruit, that's when life begins. Obviously, you have to understand that time is not a procedure, and when you've laid the foundations, when the fruit starts to appear, when it has borne fruit, it will truly be for the long term. So you need to take your energy, your strength, your youth, your determination, start your project, plant your tree, and then you harvest the fruit of your effort. So I tell myself this big dream that we all have when we set out on the adventure to help our parents in Africa to be able to do great things. It might happen as an employee, but you have to become an entrepreneur. But even when you start a business, entrepreneurship is not easy. It's no small feat. It's full of unexpected events and setbacks. I think the journey is never a steady climb. It's a great lesson in perseverance in life. You have to hang on, not lose hope, no matter what unexpected challenges come your way. Stay focused on the goal. And when you have the goal in front of you, you have the willpower. Where there's a will, there's a way. If you want to, you can. So you can take the hits. And when you take the hits, you stay persistent. And also the failures, all the failures you encounter along the way, the setbacks, the disappointments, these are life lessons. It allows you to improve your process. And I also tell myself the harder it is, the more unexpected obstacles there are that throw things off and make the task difficult, the more it allows you to perfect your system. And when you reach mastery, it will be perfect. A bit like the past never. After so many difficulties and failures, when they finally made it to the finals, it was a perfect final. 5-0, an extraordinary game, an unforgettable performance. And that's also what makes it difficult. It allows you to perfect your game, your expertise. So I think that's a bit of what I can share tonight. So I encourage everyone to persevere, to take responsibility, and never let go of dreams or goals that might seem crazy. And also, we give ourselves the means to succeed. If there are unexpected events or failures, don't give up, hold on for a victory. And just as it is night right now, it will be day soon, inshallah. It's night at the moment, and in a few hours it will be day. The sun will rise. No matter how long the night lasts, the day will always come. So courage to everyone. Let's hang in there. Let's hold on. There are good days ahead and a lot of success on this side. Thank you and good night.